You know the exact feeling. Someone makes an unfair comment, throws out a subtle insult, or questions your choices. Immediately, your heart rate spikes. Your mind scrambles to find the perfect words to defend yourself. That rush to explain and justify your side feels like a basic survival instinct, but reacting in that moment is actually stepping directly into a carefully laid psychological trap. The moment you respond with anger or frustration, you voluntarily hand over the remote control to your nervous system. You are allowing someone else to dictate your emotional state for the rest of the day. People who provoke you aren't looking for a meaningful debate or objective truth. Often, they are dealing with their own deep-seated insecurities, and they are hunting for a reaction to make themselves feel powerful. When you get upset, you give them what they wanted. Your frustration is their satisfaction. Your attention is the direct reward that validates their attempt to disturb your peace. Engaging in this dynamic guarantees you lose, because the conflict itself is the prize. The only way to win this psychological game is to refuse to play entirely. True defense doesn't happen during an argument. It happens in the internal mechanics of your mind, in the split second before a reaction even occurs. This diagram represents a typical argument, with energy flowing back and forth. We disrupt this using the tactical pause, the deliberate delay before choosing a response. Absolute silence acts as a psychological circuit breaker. You instantly starve the attacker of the emotional energy they expected. The person who expected a fiery reaction suddenly faces a wall of calm. Without your frustration to fuel their behavior, they realize their words have zero influence over your emotional state. Society often teaches us that staying silent during a disagreement means losing. In reality, holding back that natural instinct to fight requires the highest level of emotional discipline a person can develop. In the face of provocation, silence is a calculated maneuver. It immediately disarms the opponent, removes their leverage, and reclaims complete control over the situation. Think of your mind as an economy. Every single day, you wake up with a strictly limited allowance of focus and mental energy. When you replay negative conversations for hours or constantly try to justify your life choices to critics, you are spending that valuable mental capital on things that produce zero positive return. It acts as a massive, invisible drain on your resources. We often fall into the trap of over-explaining, hoping that if we just find the right words, the other person will finally get it. But no amount of rational justification will convince someone who is firmly committed to misunderstanding you. The act of ignoring immediately halts the strain. By choosing not to engage, you keep your emotional currency safely locked inside your own mind, preserving it to invest in your own goals, focus, and personal growth. Protecting your attention doesn't mean pretending problems don't exist. It means ruthlessly bankrupting the people and conflicts that simply don't deserve a single cent of your energy. Walking away from conflict before it begins requires quiet, unshakable strength. It lets you remain entirely stable while a storm of chaos happens around you. This is the practice of emotional detachment. It is the ability to observe a negative event or hear a harsh criticism, acknowledge it exists, and then actively decide not to let it infect your internal state. When you stop feeding conflicts with your attention, the drama simply starves. Without your reactions to sustain them, those exhausting situations permanently fade from your daily life. You stop needing the world's approval for every decision you make. Your calm actions and your personal progress speak much louder than any defensive argument ever could. So the next time someone tries to pull you into an unnecessary psychological conflict, you know exactly what to do. Smile, ignore the bait, and simply keep walking. True power is not found in controlling the noisy external world. It is found in acting as the absolute, unforgiving gatekeeper of what you allow to live inside your mind.